Welcome to the 5-Minute English Learning Podcast, your quick, no-fluff guide to improving your English in just minutes a day. Subscribe now and make English a part of your daily life.
Let's imagine a small, quiet train station in the countryside. Picture it. Old wooden benches, a crackling fireplace in the waiting room, and large windows looking out onto the platform. It's a gray, rainy day. The kind of day where the rain falls steadily, not a downpour, but a constant drizzle. Drizzle means light rain.
Yes, I can picture it. The air is probably thick with the smell of wet earth and the sound of the rain drumming on the station roof. There's a certain peacefulness to rainy days like that, isn't there? A kind of gentle melancholy.
Exactly. Melancholy means a feeling of pensive sadness, often with no obvious cause. Now, in this quiet station, only a few people are waiting for the train. We're going to focus on two of them. One is an elderly woman, bundled up in a thick coat, a colorful scarf wrapped around her head.
And the other person? Tell me more about them.
He is a young man, probably in his early 20s, with a backpack slung over his shoulder. He looks restless, pacing back and forth across the waiting room floor. He keeps checking his watch, tapping his foot impatiently.
It sounds like he's eager for the train to arrive. I wonder where he's going. Maybe he's going on a trip, or perhaps he's going home to his family.
We'll discover that soon. Outside, the rain continues to fall, washing over the empty platform. The only sound besides the rain is the occasional rumble of a distant tractor. The air feels heavy, expectant, like something is about to happen.
Expectant. That's a good word. It means you are waiting for something, feeling that something is about to happen. It adds to the atmosphere, the feeling of anticipation. It makes me want to know what will happen next.
Me too. Let's see what unfolds at this little train station on this rainy day. We will explore what happens when their paths cross. Unfolds, here, means how the events develop or happen. Let's delve into their story. Delve means to examine something carefully.
This is exciting. I can't wait to hear more about the elderly woman and the young man. Their stories are about to intertwine. Intertwine means to connect or become involved with each other closely.
The rain was coming down hard. It was a real downpour, the kind where you can barely see across the street. The train station was crowded with people trying to stay dry. Some were huddled together under the small awning, while others were just resigned to getting soaked.
A young woman, let's call her Amelia, sat on a bench near the ticket window. She clutched a small, worn suitcase on her lap. Amelia was on her way to visit her grandmother, a journey she made every year. This year, however, felt different, heavier somehow.
The air in the station was thick with the smell of wet concrete and the murmur of anxious conversations. The schedule board flickered, announcing delays due to the inclement weather. Inclement just means unpleasant, usually referring to bad weather.
Amelia sighed, pulling her coat tighter around her. The word, delay, echoed in her mind. She had promised her grandmother she would be there by lunchtime, and now it seemed impossible. She worried about her grandmother, who lived alone and relied on Amelia's visits.
Suddenly, a young man with bright red wellies, or rain boots as some people call them, splashed into the station. He was soaked to the bone, but he had a cheerful grin on his face. He shook the water off his umbrella, spraying droplets everywhere.
He noticed Amelia sitting alone, her face etched with worry. He hesitated for a moment, then approached her. "Excuse me," he said, his voice surprisingly gentle considering his boisterous entrance. "Do you mind if I sit here? Everywhere else is packed."
Amelia glanced up at him, surprised. He seemed so carefree, so unaffected by the downpour that was ruining everyone else's day. She managed a small smile and nodded. "Of course," she replied, shifting her suitcase to make room on the bench.
He sat down next to her, careful not to get her wet. "Miserable weather, isn't it?" he remarked, his cheerful grin still in place. Amelia agreed, a slight chuckle escaping her lips. It was hard to stay gloomy in the presence of his infectious optimism.
They sat in silence for a few moments, listening to the rhythmic drumming of the rain on the station roof. Then, the young man turned to Amelia and extended his hand. "I'm Daniel," he said.
"Amelia," she replied, shaking his hand. His hand was warm and dry, a stark contrast to the cold dampness of the station. It was a small comfort in the midst of the storm.
So, to quickly recap what's happened so far in our story, a rainy day at the train station. A young woman named Amelia is waiting for her train on a dark and stormy evening. The station is almost deserted. It's quite eerie, a bit spooky.
Yes, and she's feeling a little anxious because the train is delayed. Remember, delayed means late. She's also a bit nervous because she's traveling alone to a new city for a job interview. This is a big opportunity for her.
Exactly. She's been looking forward to this interview for weeks. It's her dream job. So, she's definitely feeling the pressure.
And to make matters worse, the station's announcements are unclear, adding to her unease. Unease means a feeling of worry or discomfort. She can't quite understand what's causing the delay.
Right. So, she's sitting there, all alone, listening to the rain and the occasional rumble of thunder. The atmosphere is very tense. Tense means there's a feeling of anxiety and anticipation, like something might happen.
She sees a few other people come and go, hurrying through the station, trying to escape the downpour. Downpour is a heavy rain. But nobody stays for long. She's mostly by herself.
Then, a mysterious old man sits down next to her. He's wearing a long, dark coat and a wide-brimmed hat, which makes him look even more enigmatic. Enigmatic means mysterious and difficult to understand.
Yes, and he starts a conversation with Amelia, which, at first, makes her even more nervous. She's not sure what to expect from this stranger. But, he seems harmless enough, maybe even a little kind.
He asks her where she's going, and she tells him about the job interview. She explains how important this opportunity is for her. This is where we left off last time. A young woman, a delayed train, a stormy night, and a mysterious old man. What will happen next? The old woman, oblivious to the commotion around her, continued to hum a melancholic tune. Oblivious, that means she wasn't aware of what was happening, completely absorbed in her own little world.
Right, like when you're studying with your headphones on and you're oblivious to the dog barking next door. And, melancholic, that describes a sad, thoughtful mood, often associated with music or art.
Exactly. The rain was coming down in sheets now, in sheets, meaning it was raining very heavily, as if a sheet of water was falling from the sky.
A great visual, and everyone on the platform huddled closer together, trying to stay dry. They were a mix of daily commuters and those on longer journeys.
Yes, commuters are people who travel regularly between work and home. And then, a young boy, no older than 7, slipped and fell, dropping his brightly colored toy train.
It clattered across the platform, rolling towards the oblivious woman. Clattered suggests a loud, rattling sound, like metal or hard objects hitting each other.
The boy, his face crumpled in distress, started to cry. He was clearly very upset about his lost toy.
Distress is a strong feeling of worry, sadness, or pain. It can be emotional or physical. In this case, the little boy is experiencing emotional distress.
The woman, finally noticing the commotion, looked down and saw the toy at her feet. She picked it up gently, a flicker of recognition in her eyes.
That phrase, a flicker of recognition, is lovely. It implies a sudden, brief moment of understanding or remembering something.
It does. This small, seemingly insignificant toy train was about to connect these two strangers in a surprising way.
The woman looked up at the crying boy, a gentle smile softening her face. She held out the train to him.
And as she did, the announcement echoed through the station. Attention passengers, the train to Oakhaven is now approaching platform 4. Oakhaven, that name, we'll learn later, is very significant.
So, let's recap some of the key phrases we encountered. Oblivious, melancholic, in sheets, clattered, and distress. These are great words to add to your vocabulary.
Absolutely. Try using them in your own sentences to practice. And think about how this chance encounter at the train station might unfold. What's the connection between the woman and Oakhaven?
We'll find out in the next part of the story. Stay tuned.
Okay, let's quickly recap the story of A Rainy Day at the Train Station. Remember, recap means to summarize or go over the main points again. So, the story begins with Amelia arriving at a busy train station on a very wet and windy day.
She's there to catch a train to visit her grandmother, but her train is delayed. The station is crowded with people sheltering from the downpour. Downpour is a heavy rain. Amelia feels a little anxious because she hates being late.
She finds a seat and starts reading a book to pass the time. She's quite engrossed, meaning very absorbed, in her book when she hears someone ask if the seat next to her is free.
It's an elderly gentleman with a kind smile. He sits down and they start chatting. He tells her fascinating stories about his travels, which helps Amelia forget about the rain and the delay. Fascinating means extremely interesting.
They talk for a long time, covering topics like different cultures and interesting places around the world. Covering topics means they discuss different subjects. Amelia finds him very interesting, and she learns a lot.
Eventually, the announcement for Amelia's train comes. Eventually means finally, or after some time. She says goodbye to the gentleman, feeling grateful for the unexpected conversation. Grateful means thankful or appreciative.
As she boards the train, she realizes that even though the delay was annoying, it gave her the opportunity to meet someone new and have a really enjoyable conversation. She feels much happier now than she did when she first arrived at the station.
And that's the story of A Rainy Day at the Train Station. It reminds us that sometimes, unexpected delays can lead to pleasant surprises. It also shows how a simple conversation can brighten someone's day, especially on a gloomy, rainy day.
Exactly. And remember, gloomy means dark or depressing. So, even when things don't go as planned, there's always a chance for something good to happen.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this story and that you picked up some new vocabulary along the way.
Thanks for listening to English Boost. Remember, practice a little every day and you'll see big results. See you in the next episode.